Hi guys, hope you've had a good day. I've been kind of lounging around in my jammies all day. So I'm going to wait just a little bit to see if a few people will log on. Hi Sam. And this is what we're going to do today. We're going to make the little reader glasses into a little snowman. I plan on keeping my little tree in my entryway up all year, and I'm just going to decorate it for the holidays. So I'm going to take all the gnomes off of there that I had for Christmas, and I'm going to now put snowmen on them. I'll probably even put some kind of heartsy thing on there for next month. Hi, Uncle. But these are super simple to make, and I thought I'm going to do this in a live because I think a lot of people would really like how they look, and anybody can make them. Me being an optician, I was kind of nitpicking with them, and I found myself trying to adjust them, making them sit on the table a little bit better before I was messing with them, and they're not going on anybody's face, so it was hard to get my job away from this. So it was very hard to get into the crafting mode and not the optician mode. Hi, Cass. So what all you're going to need is just a pair of reader glasses. Doesn't matter the strength because no one's going to be looking through them. I just got these from the Dollar Tree. So you just take all the little stickers. Some of them have more than one sticker on there. You just take those off. And at first, I was taking out my little itty bitty screwdriver because as an optician, that's what we do. In order to take the arms off, you use a little screwdriver and do that. Well, I found with these glasses, the screws do not come out that well, or they just spin. So I found myself having to snip them off. So as I was prepping, I just decided I'm gonna snip those off. But in the picture that I had seen on Pinterest, the inspiration one, they just left them as is. So it had one arm up here, one arm down here, and they just left it that way, which it would work either way. And then I thought, oh, well, I can bend them. You know, I can bend this one this way to make it look like an arm and bend the other one. And then after I got to thinking, I'll just snip them off. Make it a little bit easier. Once my crafting brain switched over, made the craft a lot easier. So all I'm going to do is after you take the little stickers off, I'm going to snip off. Unless you want to leave them intact and not have them, the arms the way I do. Because I snip them off and then I place them where I want them. So all that I've been doing is snipping these off. Right, Uncle? I think it makes it look more like a snowman. Otherwise, it kind of looks like he's going like, I don't know, he's trying to make a Y or something, but it doesn't look accurate with the way, and I wanted to make it look like he had arms. So after I snip those off, I really don't need this long piece of metal. I just want the little tips. So I just use my wire cutter, and I'll put those there. And I've been saving these little pieces of metal because I thought I might be able to use them in another craft. You never know when you're going to need a little piece of wire. Oh, Uncle, that'd be cool. I always love, you know, there's times where we go through some of our little junk drawers in the kitchen, and I'll find glasses that we had from our past. A friend of mine, she just sent me pictures today of glasses that she had found. Well, now I have a use for all the old glasses. And they're really, really simple to do. And plus, The little screws are hard to see anyway, and if I'm not at work, I really don't want to have to make adjustments. So I'm just snipping those off, and I can glue, because what I did with this first one, I unscrewed the screw, and then I had to put a needle through the opening where that screw was in order to hang this. I made it way too hard on myself. Now I'm just going to use the hot glue and glue my tie to it. Because they're super light. They're not heavy at all. Hi, Barb. Hi, Danielle. I'm so glad that you guys are watching. This one's going to be a really fun one. And this one can stay up all winter. It doesn't have to be for like Christmas or anything. Because with the snow, it works. It can stay up during Valentine's. But boy, they turn out so cute. So once you get those cut off, and I mean, this one, I wanted to show you. These had an easier arm because it was all round. This one I wanted to show you. So when you grab them, you might want to kind of keep in mind if you're going to snip them off. This one is a little bit harder to snip because it has a wider band for that ear. And it has kind of like a little spring hinge right where that screw goes in there. So when you go to clip it, it's going to make it a little bit harder because on the other ones, it just screwed in there and it was round. So I would definitely recommend if you're going to snip them, do the little round one and don't get the wider side that has the spring hinge on there. Because it is a little bit more tricky when you clip them off. When I did one of the other ones that had the spring hinge, it wanted to pop the lens out because it kind of twisted. It twisted right here where it attaches to the lens. So I think next time when I grab these, I'm going to make sure that I grab the ones that don't have the spring hinge. And then all you do is you just snip really close to that tip. And when I first got them, I was like bending in the nose pieces, I got out my little pliers and I was checking to make sure that they were sitting right. I had to switch to the crafting brain so I wouldn't adjust them because they don't need adjusted at all. And then you're gonna need white paint. I chose the chalk paint. It's just something I have on hand. And then you'll also need a little bit of black. And you can either use orange paint for the nose, or you can get like markers. You could also use markers for the black if you wanted. I just found that I'm using what I have. I have a black marker too, but I'm not good at doing circles. So I'll show you a little tip on how I made my circles so nicely formed, in my opinion. They're still probably not perfect, but a lot better than what I could have done if I was drawing it on there. The nose is just a simple triangle, and it's a carrot. And if it doesn't turn out, I'll just say, well, you know what? It's a carrot. It's not going to be perfect. So all I did was I put my paint, I'm going to move that aside too, in my trusty little tray. And at first when I started doing it, I was trying not to get the wire edge on the glasses, and I kept thinking, it's snow. If you got a snowball thrown at you, it's going to go on the wire. The only part I did not want it to go is in the center here. But then after I started working, I was like, that's going to get covered with ribbon for a scarf. So really, if you get the white on anything else, it doesn't matter. And if you don't want it on there, you can always take a tissue or whatever in order to get that off. And you can use any type of brush. I've been using the little foam squishy brushes, but you could use any sorts to put it on there. You know, just any sorts. I've been using the little brush or the sponge brush, and I just dip it in my paint, and then I take some of the excess off of there, and then I kind of smear it around. And then once you have it pretty much covered how you want it, I kind of dab it. Because to me, it leaves that little bit of, I don't know if that'll show, but it leaves like a little texture. And that, when I see that texture, it makes me think snowball. So as I'm dabbing, that creates that textured look. And with the chalk paint, when you shine it on the light, you can kind of see through it. I don't know if you can, it's not going to show. But it's okay because when you have it on the tree and it has the twinkling lights, it kind of creates a little glow behind it. And it just adds to the character of the snowman. So then all that you do, there's really no hard way about it. You just smear it on and then you dab in order to create the snowball effect, as I call it. So then it should look like that. And if you don't have a really thick coating on there, it'll dry quicker to where you can draw on it or paint the face or whatever. So I already have some that are painted that I will do the buttons and stuff here after a bit. But I'm going to go ahead and do the whites on some more of these. And then I'll do that while those are drying. I really like that I'm going to be able to have my tree up all year, and then it's a nice way to kind of display some of my crafts, especially if it's something small and hangs. Hi, Sarah. Oh, and you know, if the Lions Club doesn't want any glasses, we could probably use theirs that they don't want and make little snowmen too. Guaranteed, the Vision Center will have some of these for their tree in the future. I think our tree would look really cute with some in there. And at first, I was making this to where it was a little bit more, it was a hard craft because I was struggling wanting to keep all the stuff cleared. I'm glad that I was able to switch my brain to where it wasn't so hard after that. Because, boy, it just turns out so cute. And it's, the easy ones are the crafts that you'll probably do again later down the road. If it's too hard of a craft, you're not going to want to do it again. Hi, Kelly. Oh, and I was going to show you this one here. I don't know if you can see that. There's some scratches on the lenses. So a lot of people come in and ask us if there's anything that we can do for scratches. Well, I found a cure. I mean, you won't be able to see through them, but you can reuse your lenses, your glasses, the ones that aren't working right and they're all scratched up. Paint them white, make them look like a snowman. Hi, Bailey. You're not going to see the scratches after you add the paint. And I think the Dollar Tree is going to be happy that they don't have a scratched pair, because no one would have purchased them if they were going to use them. Bailey, we miss you too. I like this craft a lot too because it doesn't take a lot of prep and it doesn't take a lot of supplies. Just glasses, paint, and ribbon, and boom, you're done. So it's very inexpensive. And they turn out so cute. And it took me a while to break down to purchase the white chalk paint. I kept using the paint from like the Dollar Tree, just really cheapy paint. But the chalk paint, I found you use less of it and it covers better. So I think I will pay that extra price just to have better coverage. But the cheapy white paint does work as well, because you really don't need that much coverage on these, because if the light shines through, it still looks really cute. Hi, Auntie. Oh, and they have different sizes of the lenses. I chose the smaller ones. It was just my preference. But they had some that were wider. And the inspiration one that I had seen on Pinterest, they had the bigger ones. I think they might have even been a plastic frame instead of the metal. But either way, it works. I just chose this one because I like the size, especially since I have a small tree. I wanted the smaller lens, the smaller stuff. But also, remember, you don't have to worry about the power of them because no one's going to be looking through them. I had to kind of remind myself, being an optician and getting out of my optician brain, you know, you're not going to need a specific power for each one, and you're not going to need to adjust them. Sometimes it's really hard to get out of your work head and get into the crafting stuff. But I like that this craft ties both of those together because I love my job and I love crafting. So this is a little bit of both. And see how I'm really not, I mean, sometimes I do find myself, I think it's my OCD, trying to do it in a pattern like or whatever, but there's no rhyme or reason, no right or wrong way. It just needs a little bit of white on there to cover that lens so it looks like a snowman. And I found when I was assembling them, I was doing them all in the same way. And you don't have to, like this one I had it to where the nose pieces were on this side. You don't have to. You can do it the other way to where the scarf hangs on the other side. It works either way. Oops, I almost painted him twice. Hi, Auntie. I've been really excited about doing this craft tonight. I kept thinking, oh, I should go in there and start prepping it, but I didn't want to do too much prep because I want to be able to leave something for the video as well. But I have a feeling I will be making quite a bit of these, and one of my goals for this year is I want to do up quite a bit of crafts and then have like a booth at a vending fair. And I think these would sell. If I made some of these up and put them out, I bet you they'd sell. Along with some of my other crafts. I'll do one more of this, then all of them will be painted. And again, I'm just, after I smear that on there, I'm just dabbing to make it look like, I don't know, to me that little texture, that little bit of texture makes me think of a snowman. I don't know if that's, it was showing up earlier. I'm not sure if you can see it, but yeah, it has like the little bit of texture and I like that. But I mean, you don't have to. You can smear it and leave it with the smeared look. Or do several coats to where it's nice and covered on there. With me, I haven't really worried about it. I didn't want it to be a stressful craft. And for me, I like to see the end result right away. And I don't like to have to wait for tons of paint to dry over and over and over. So if I can do a really quick craft and get it done and see the end result, that craft is for me. Okay, so I have all of those painted. And then I will show you how I did the black on here. I did a really cute little technique. I have some of these that have already been painted. So I took this paintbrush, and this was my Grandma Rogers paintbrush. She's used it many, many times on tons of crafts. It already had a black bottom, so I'm sure she has done the same technique before. So I just put a little bit of black in my tray here, and I dip my paintbrush in the bottom of there, and I just get a nice little bit on there. And I'm gonna do these bottom ones first. And all that you're gonna do, find out where you want that first one, and then you create a little dot. I always dip it after each one because I don't want it, I want all of them to be the same. And I'm afraid if I dot the first one, there's not very much paint on it after that. So if I go and dot it again, it's not going to be as dark. And if you don't want them that big, just don't put your paintbrush down as far, because as you go down, it spreads that paint out. And as you can see, these dots are bigger than these. But that's okay. That's just like the coal that you use on a snowman, you know, or the buttons. They're all different sizes, so it doesn't matter if it's the same size or not. Now for the eyes, I do the same thing. So I just dip my paintbrush in there. And those are my eyes. Now I'm going to let that dry just a little bit before I add the next little touch, because I'm going to put a little white dot on there, kind of just to give it a little bit more pizzazz. So I'm going to go ahead and do the buttons on this one. And then I'll do the eyes. They turn out so cute. If you guys do this craft, send me pictures because I want to see yours as well. And the inspiration picture that I had seen on Pinterest, they had a little bit of brown shading around the edges just to kind of create like a little antique-y shading look. I didn't do that on mine. I have the brown paint, but I'm not very good at painting. And I might try it on some of them at a later time, but right now I like how it looks with the bright white, and I didn't want them antiqued. So I think if I have some regular brown burlap. I think the antique-y looking ones would look good with those. But for now, I'm just gonna do them this way. But I can really see myself dolling up the edges on some of them later down the road. Wasn't too bad. I wasn't sure how that second one was gonna go because I didn't re-dip it. There's also times where when it comes to the painting, I feel that I'm trying to rush because I want it to hurry up and dry. But with this, it does not take long to dry at all. And if you did want to speed it up, you could use a hair dryer. I've done that with some of my crafts as well. Okay, so those are the ones that I have pre-painted. Now this is one that I painted just a little bit ago, and the paint is already dry. So I'm going to go ahead and dot this one as well. mine, I did not put a mouth on it. You can if you want. It was just something that I decided not to. But there's no wrong way of doing it. If you want a mouth on there, you can do the same technique, or you could even just draw a line on there. I figured with these, I'm going to just do simple. Very, very simple. Hi, Michelle. And all of the ones that I'm working on now are the ones that I just painted white, and they're already dry. And I know some people, like, see how on this one I have it more on one side than the other. Some people would like measure them out, make it to where it's nicely formed and in a straight line and all that. It doesn't matter. If you want it to be a specific way, go ahead, make it to where, you know, map it out, line it, make it nice and straight. There's, like I said, there's no right or wrong way of doing it. I don't measure just because I think it adds a little bit of character. And if I'm making a snowman outside, I'm not taking a ruler out there and measuring how far the buttons are and all of that. So I'm not going to do it on these either. I am so glad that you guys are tuning in and watching. I love doing this craft. When I saw it on Pinterest, I was like, I'm going to make those. And I found when I made the first few ones with the eyes, I made it to where the eyes were not fully like in line, and some of one eye was a little bit smaller than the other. That's when my optician brain kicked back in a little bit, and it said, well, you know what? Some people's eyes are not straight across. Some people have an eye that's bigger than the other. So it all works. Don't stress out over the snowmen. Just have fun with the craft. They are so much fun to make. Hi, Surya. Sorry I missed you the other day. I hope you like your teddy bears and bunnies. I ended up getting more washcloths. They had different colors. And so I couldn't pass them up. I had to buy more. And some of the new colors that I ended up getting, there's a green in there, and the color of it makes me think of either a frog, so I might have to figure out how to do a frog one, or maybe even a Yoda, because it could pass as a Yoda color as well. But out of that bundle, there's only 2 green ones. So if I want to make more than that, I'd have to buy the entire bundle, you know, because you only get 2 of each color, except for the white. The white ones, you get quite a bit of the white. I like that there's so many in the bundle, so I can make them, and it's not going to be that expensive for that gift. Oops, a little bit more. There we go. I'm so glad that you like them. They were so much fun and so easy to make. Okay, so I have all of those dotted. Now I'm going to go back in to the first ones that I did, and they're not fully dry, but where I want to put that little dot of white, I don't know if you can see that on there. My light's a little bright, but see that little extra dab of white on the eyes? That's what I'm going to do. And these are dry enough to where I can put that white on there. So, I used up all of my white before. I'm going to add some more to my tray. I really love this chalk paint, and it does not take very much, so I haven't even gotten that far into this. If you can, and you're buying white paint, I would definitely lean towards the chalk. So then this one, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just using a smaller paintbrush, and I'm dipping the back end of it into the white. And I debated on this part. This part is optional. I mean, you can leave them to where there's no little glimmer on their eyes, but I wanted to give it a try. So it just adds that little bit of pizzazz to the, and a little bit more detail. Plus, you don't want to finish the craft too quick. You want to be able to doll it up a little bit more. And with this part, I always try not to stress over where my dot lands. As long as it lands on the eyeball, it's good. Because I'm not that good at painting. I'll probably practice this year to where I get a little bit better. I always say that there's always room for improvement. So even if I did amazing, painting and everything, there's always room for improvement. Just give it a shot, you never know. So that's probably something I will work on this year, is maybe I'll do some painting. What do you think of those little the white dots? Notice how they're not fully like in the middle. They're up towards the top, just to kind of give a little bit of glimmer. What do you think of that technique? Does it add like I'm thinking it does? Because I personally like that little detail. And I probably could have added more detail to the nose, like lines for the carrot. I didn't do that on there either. But that is a possibility if you wanted that extra bit of detail. I'm finding after doing quite a bit of them, the paint wants to rise up onto the edges, and I want it to stay more towards the bottom, so it'll give me that little dot. I'm just going to wipe it off on my little paper towel there, so it kind of cleans it off for me. Then I will dip it back in there to where I can get a better dot. I cannot wait to see these hanging on that tree. I'll probably end up gifting some as well, because I very seldom ever keep my crafts. They always end up going to somebody else. I always figure I can make more, so mine are always on the back burner, and if somebody else likes them, why not share? Okay, so I have the little dots of the eyes on there. Now I can move to the noses. Those are pretty simple too. All you do is make a triangle, or you could use the paint. Like on the ones that I did, let's see. This one I used paint. And on this one I used the marker. I mean, you can't really tell the difference. They both look good. The paint one I think is a little bit more of a darker orange, but either way works. And all you do is you make a little triangle. You can make the nose as big or as little as you want. It'd be a good way to customize your snowman. They turn out so cute. And as I'm drawing on the noses, that also gives the eyes and the buttons a little bit longer to dry before you put on the that scarf. And don't worry about messing up, because if any of this doesn't turn out how you like it, you can always paint over it. Or if you think it looks like really, really horrible, you can always say, you know, oh, well, there was a snowball fight and that snowman got knocked over, and so he had a little accident. So even the ones that don't turn out exactly how you want them to, they will still work. Don't hesitate And don't give up. Just keep on going with it. They all work. They turn out so cute. Is it weird that I enjoy and I comment quite a bit? Is it weird that I keep saying that I love how they look? I love crafting. It really puts my brain into different gears to where I'm not thinking about everything else. You know, it's really relaxing. And I think that goes for like any craft that you do. Like if you paint or, you know, craft or bake or cook or whatever, it gets your mind off of the other things. This is one of my go-tos. This and crocheting. I crochet quite a bit too. Like, see, I painted a really big nose on him. It still works. I think with this craft, the grandkids could even help do them. Because it's mainly the painting. The only thing I would end up doing is the clipping the stuff off. Unless they want to try to use the screwdriver and take all the screws out. But I found with these, the screws don't come out that easy. So I've just been snipping them. Okay. So all of them have noses now. There we go. That had issues. Alright, then I ended up getting these really cute ribbons for Christmas. And then I also picked up some burlap. But I also had some of this ribbon left over from a teddy bear that I had made. And then I also have this ribbon as well. And I thought those would look really cute on a snowman too. Because what we're using this for is the scarf of the snowman. And then the burlap, with as white as it is, I just cut it down. Like this one, I'll probably still cut it down just a little bit more. I think I'm going to cut some of the black off of there. That way it still has some of the red. With those, I've got those. So I wanted about the size of what this ribbon is. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off this little edge. I think I cut these just a little bit too wide. And I'm going to save this little scrap because it can be used later down the road as well. I try not to waste that much, and I keep a lot of my scraps. So this one is pretty much dry. So what I'm going to do is just take a piece of ribbon and around this middle, see where these nose pieces are? Those are going to come in handy for me here in a minute. So I'm going to wrap my ribbon around there and I'm going to tie it off. I want to make it like I'm tying his scarf. But I don't want to go too tight because there's not a whole lot there. I want to make it a little bit wide. So I'm going to use those nose pieces to my advantage. So I'm going to bring up or bend that nose piece in the back there. So it's kind of up and underneath. Can you see that? How I bent that up? It was, I'll show you on this one. So see how that was down right there? I bent it up to where it's up a little bit more. And that'll give me something to set my glue on, so I can glue the back of this where it wraps around. That'll give me somewhere to glue that to, and so that'll make it look like it's a nice neck size rather than itty bitty. It'll fill in that space. So I'm just going to put a dab of glue on that nose piece. And then put the back of that ribbon on there. And then this top nose piece, I'm going to bend that down to where it kind of holds it in place. So that is now laying on top of my ribbon. Hi, Lynette. And I'm going to put glue on there so it stays in place in that spot. And then all that I'm doing is twisting this around to where it looks like it's coming down. And then on this part of his belly, I'm going to put a little dab of glue so I can glue this in place. This way it kind of stays in the spot you want it. And it doesn't hide your little buttons. Okay. So then this piece, see how it's just kind of flopping around? I want that to look like it stays down a little bit. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here. And then put this where I want it. And then see how my ribbon is a little long. I can trim that to whatever length I want. And then I'm going to use my little scissors. You won't see this detail very much on the phone, but when you come up close, you'll see it. So it kind of looks like the scarf has tassels. And again, you don't have to do that. It's just a little added step that I like to do. I will bring it up here so you can see. See how it's just a little bit, it looks like it's tassels or a little bit torn at the bottom. I like that look. I'm gonna add a little bit more glue right up at the top there. Okay, you are almost done. So then you're going to take 2 of these arms, and you'll notice some of them have words on them. With those, you can have that one like aiming down when it's in the back. That way you won't see it, it's to the back. Or you can have it on the other, if you have it on the other side, have it aiming upwards to where those words are to the back. So it works either way. You can use it for a right or a left. Just make sure that that writing is to the back. Or you could paint over it if you wanted to. That's an option as well. I'm trying to make it as simple and quick. I didn't want to have to do extra painting. So all that I'm going to do is have the writing to the back. So all that you're going to do is take your hot glue gun, put a dollop of glue on the back. Then you're going to place, make sure you can see that, place this tip in there. And I have it aimed upward with the words to the back. And he's got one little arm. Then the other one, you can either have it going up or you can have it going down to where he has one arm up where he's saying hello. Or he can have both hands up going, yay, I just won the snowball fight. But play around with it. It works either way. They look really cute. So it doesn't matter if the arms are up, down, one's up, one down. In my inspiration picture that I had seen on Pinterest, they didn't even cut the arms off. So this just is a little added extra tidbit. So whatever works for you, whatever you're feeling at the time, it all works. So I'm going to add a little bit more glue. And I grabbed one that does not have any words on it. I'm going to have that one going upwards. And then that little bit of ribbon that I snipped off, I'm going to use that for extra support in the back. So I'm just going to put a little bit more glue. And then I'm going to cover it with that ribbon. And that's going to hold those arms in place. Plus, when you look at the back, it'll just look like he's wearing a sweater or they're tucked under that scarf. How fun, right? Okay. So then I also got some of this, but you could use yarn, twine, ribbon. You can even use like the little itty bitty bit that I snipped off earlier. You can use whatever you want. I just snip off a little bit of that, what is it, cord. Now with these, since I snipped off the arm, and there's no hole because it still has that screw in there, I'm going to take this and just tie it. I'm going to tie it around there. So I just tied it around where that screw is in. And to the back, I'm going to add a little dab of glue. That'll help hold it in place. And I will finish my knot around that glue. Then you leave a little opening because this is going to be your hanger. Now on the other one, I made it long enough to where I could tie a bow at the top. It's just something that I normally do. But with this one, I'm going to show you, you don't have to put that bow at the top. You can cut it fairly close to the knot. And then just add a little bit of glue. And that helps keep it from coming apart. And then it's ready to hang on your tree. Isn't that cute? This is the one that I did the other day with the little bow at the top. But it works either way. Or at the end with this, you could tie a loop and then make this at the bottom to where the other part's at the top. I'll show you on the next one what I mean. I'll just use this one. I think I'll do that part first, just to show ya. So you could take your cording and tie the loose ends together. And then up at the top there, you could put this end through the loop. Or actually, other way around. And then when you pull it tight, that loop is up here. Of course, you would want your string to be shorter. So So you just tie this. I had it a little bit too long. Thanks, Sam. I love how they turn out. And I think being an optician, I think they hold a little bit more to my heart than if I wasn't one. Okay. So now I will show you what I meant. So that knot will be on the bottom. And then this will be at the top. And then all that you would do is you would add a little bit of glue to hold it in place. There they are. I was going to use those to place it. If you make these and you hang them on a tree, you'll really notice what I mean about the little bit of glow. If you have the twinkly lights on there, you'll notice the glow coming through just a little bit, and it just gives that little extra pizzazz on there. Oh, Renee, you're so welcome. I love doing these, and crafting is like my go-to. It helps me relax. And how I end up doing the scarf is I have a piece of the ribbon behind and a piece of the ribbon in front. The one in front is slightly shorter than the one behind. And then I wrap that around over top of this one. And then I go underneath to where it comes up. And again, we are gonna bring that nose piece up in the back. And I'm gonna put a dab of glue on the back of that nose piece. And the ribbon's gonna go to the top. And then once I have this the size I want, to where it's a nice neck size, that piece will go there. Yeah, that's going to look really cute. Then I'm going to push this top nose piece down, and I will glue it to the ribbon. Just so it kind of holds it in place a little bit more. Aw, Izzy, Nana loves you too. So, so much. Okay, and then on the front of his belly here, up towards the top, we're going to put a little dab of glue. Put that ribbon. This ribbon seems to be a little bit harder to work with because it's more flexible than the burlap. So a heads up on that. So what I'm going to do is this part here, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the ribbon, and I'm going to glue that down to the ribbon so it stays in place, because I find that it's kind of moving around a little bit more. You can also put a little dab of glue here if you're wanting it to stay put. You'll find, depending on what ribbons you use, some will be a little bit more workable than others, because some are a little bit more stiff. And just work with it, make it work for you. And if it's not 100%, it's okay. It's a scarf, so scarves don't lay 100%, and you never know, it could be a windy day, so the scarf is not going to be doing what you wanted anyway. So if push comes to shove, just make an excuse or a funny story to where it'll work for you. I wasn't sure if I was going to like this ribbon on the snowman because I really like the burlap. But these would look really elegant. I like the colors. And if you wanted, you could also use like a little piece of, like I'm going to cut these. You could use a piece of it to make like a little hat at the top. With these, I think I'm going to dovetail the ends. Make sure that that's how I want it. So there's that. And like I said, if you wanted, you could, I don't want to make it too elaborate, make it hard on everybody, but that little piece that I just took off, I could fold up the bottom then I can take a little piece of string and gather. See how I cut those? What I did was I folded a couple times this way and left a point at the top. That way it looks like the bottom part of a hat. Then I'm just gonna kind of pucker at the top and tie a little knot. Oh, if my fingers will work. There we go. So you just tie a little knot towards the top. Then make sure you tie a knot there. twist the knot to the back. This will be the first one that I don't know if I'll put the hat on, but I'll see what you guys think. So then I'm going to snip these tails. So since this one has a fancy little scarf, you could put a fancy little hat on it as well. I mean, really, that does kind of look cute. So I probably will glue it down. That was not my original way of doing it. I figured I would do all of them to where they look like this. But I think this one's going to have a hat. In this one, I still have to add the arms. So I'm just going to grab 2 of those tips out of my pile. And I still have this little piece that I cut off that I'm going to be using to cover. So I'm going to turn that to the back there. This one I'm going to make it look like he's saying hi because I just happened to grab 2 with the writing, and I want to make sure that you know that they are able to work. Even if you grab both with the writing on there, you just want to have them facing towards the back. So I'm going to put some glue, just a nice amount so it doesn't want to go anywhere. And you just want to hold it down just a little bit. It takes a little bit for the glue to set. And then this arm, I can't have both arms up because both arms have the writing on it. So this one I'm going to go down. And I'm going to show you it works either way. This one will just look like it's waving with one hand. There's really no right or wrong way of doing it. And you can always cover up the wording. Then I'm going to put some glue over top. And then cover it with that extra ribbon. And just be careful because the heat will go through that ribbon. And I'm also going to trim a little bit of it. There we go. That kind of gives it just a little bit more of a finished look. And it makes it look like that's the back of the scarf. And then before I show you the full reveal on this one, I'm going to go ahead and glue this hat on. I like how, as I'm crafting, sometimes they just take a new turn because the brain just keeps working. Sometimes they end up turning out way better than what you originally thought. Oh my goodness. I liked the other ones, but I kind of like the ones with the hats a little bit better. Okay, what do you think? I like both. One could be a girl and the other one could be a boy. But boy, they sure turn out cute. I hope somebody else makes these and shares the pictures with me because I want to see what you guys come up with. I think a tree full of all different ribbons for the scarves, I think that would look really cute. Although, with me, I think my OCD would probably mess with me because I do like everything to look the same. Like one year, I had a tree that was all white. It had white lights. It had white ornaments. So it might mess with my OCD on that if I had some with all different ribbons. But boy, that would look so cute with all different ones. Like the next one, I'll do the black one. It'll look so cute. Now I haven't tried any to make like a hat with the burlap. I don't know if that would work. I can try it though. I'll see what I can do. Let me snip off a piece and I'm gonna see if I can make a hat for one of the burlap ones. Okay. Then I will grab another piece of cording. And I will tie that. Yeah, I think this works better when it's on the table. Oh, you guys, it looks cute. I'll show you here in a second. I'm going to glue it down. And you know that inspiration photo that I had seen on Pinterest? They didn't have hats on theirs. But I think they had plastic frames. I have like a piece of glue. They turn out cute, even with the little hats. With and without. Do you like them with the hat or without? Or both? It would work either way, really. This one I'm going to do I'm going to do that black and silver. like I said, this type of ribbon will need played with a little bit more, just because it's not as thick and not as sturdy as the others, as that burlap. That burlap really stays put wherever you put it, because it's nice and thick. But these are really thin, and also be careful when you glue, because that heat will come through. And of course I've bent up that bottom one and then down the top one, and I glued those to the ribbon. With this one, you end up getting a little bit more of a gap where the knot is, and so you have to kind of glue and play around. Like, you'll still put the glue at the top of the belly there for that strand to go down. But right where this knot is, you're going to glue right here, and you're going to glue that down so you don't see the space. And then you're also going to glue a little bit under his chin. That way it keeps that ribbon nice and full, so you don't see the gaps underneath. So I'll end up gluing a little bit here and up here. Otherwise, you'll see where this is rounded and doesn't meet. Bit of glue there under the chin. And as you're working, you'll notice where all it looks good to be glued. I will never look at leftover ribbon the same. Now, whenever I see those, I'm going to see little hats. This one, I made this one too long, so I'm going to shorten it. Rather have it too long than not long enough. There we go. I'll make another little hat. So I'm just gluing up the bottom of that ribbon there, so it looks like the brim of the hat. I have strings everywhere. Then I'm just going to kind of pinch the top where that point starts. Then I'm going to tie a knot. Then clip off those extras. And I've just been adding a little bit of glue just to keep it from fraying. Now I'm going to tie my attachment so I can hang it. I'm going to attach my hanger to the top here. And with this one, I find myself going back to my old ways. I made it long enough to where I'm going to be able to make a bow at the top. You might say that's kind of like one of my signatures. I like the little bows at the top. Then I'm going to glue his hat down, and then I'm going to go ahead and do his arms. And you can also put the hats like off to the side or straight up, either way. Both ways work. Now I'm going to do the arms. In these, I'm looking for the words. This pair doesn't have any, so I can make them however I want. I think I'm still going to have it waving high, so I'm going to put one arm up and one arm down. The arm that I'm going to put down is going to be opposite of this part here, because if I had this one down in the back, you're not really going to see it. So the one on this side is going to be going up. That's the one waving high. And this one I'm going to have going down. And that little bit that I cut off, I'm going to put it in the back to kind of hold that in place. Okay. So then there's that one. They turn out adorable. And so quick and easy and fun. So far I've got the 4 done. I probably won't do all of them during the live. I'll probably finish up here after a bit. But I wanted to show you all the options that you can do. You can decorate them however you like. You can add a little bit of greenery to it. You can add little berries. You can make it to where he's holding a little sign. I know they have chalkboard, like little signs. I know they have them around like Easter, but you put them like in like a little fairy garden or whatever. You can take one of those to where it looks like he's holding a sign, you know, that says let it snow or whatever. And these would be really cute on a package as well for Christmas. So there's all sorts of different things that can be done with them. But I think I'm going to have to shut this off because, well, maybe not. I thought my music was going to mess up. So I had to shut that off. So I think I'm going to go ahead and log off here. And then I'll do all these later because it'd end up taking me a couple hours in order to finish them all with as many. I wasn't sure how long it would take for all of them. But, I mean, they whip up quick. But I've already been in about an hour and a half. So I will take pictures of all of them. I know I want to use the red burlap as well and see how that works. I also have a regular burlap and a striped one. So I'll use some of those and I will take pictures. I'm going to set these. I'm going to try to get all of these 4. Can you tell I kind of have OCD because they all have to go the same way? And if you do add like a little sign or something, you could put somebody's name on it or name the little snowman. They turn out so adorable and so cute. I hope you guys make them. If so, send me pictures. And thank you so much for watching. And I am just flabbergasted with how many people I have following me so far. I'm not that far from 400. Last I looked, I only needed like 9 more people. Or maybe it might even be 10. But keep sprinkling the videos. Keep watching. I'll probably end up doing another live maybe next week sometime. Never know. I might just pop on. Who knows? But if I do reach 400, I will draw another name. And I still have some mail to go out. Because it's going the one for Christmas is going quite a ways away. So it's taken me a little bit to get that in the mail. But keep watching. I will keep crafting. And I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate all of you, all of your input on everything. And I hope you have a great weekend. Bye.